Okay, I wanted to come on here and work number 5 because I had a couple of questions on it. So let's look at chapter 19, number 5 on Cengage. It's asking us to accumulate our job costs. So just as a reminder, our job costs are going to be direct materials, direct labor, and factory overhead. We directly trace direct materials and direct labor, and so we'll be able to tell what those are. And then we're probably going to be allocating factory overhead, so they'll give us some information. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this, I'm going to realize that's a lot of words, and I want to break it down, and I'm going to label the important parts so that I don't have to look and read all of this. All right, so I'm going to simplify it. It says at the end of August, our company had completed jobs 40 and 42, and job 40 is for 10,000 units of something, and job 42 is 11,000 units. All right, I'm going to put in some commas, and I'm going to take out some decimals so everything is easier to read. All right, so I'm going to label this. This is job, this is units. All right, and then it tells me that on August the 4th, Rothschild Company purchased on account 12,000 units of raw materials at $14 per unit. So the journal entry for that would be that I got some materials and I credited my accounts payable, and it would be for 12,000 units times $14. So I've got some materials of 168,000. I don't know if they're direct or indirect just yet. So then those raw materials were requisitioned for production as followed. 5,000 units went to job 40 at $8 per unit, and 6,200 units went to job 42 at 14. So when it tells me that it got requisitioned to production for a particular job, that means it was direct materials that I can trace to that job. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say that I put it into, we put everything direct into work in process, right? And for right now, I'll just list it out separately so that I can see which jobs went to what. All right, so the work in process for job number, where is it? Job 40, 5,000 units for job 40 at $8. So 5,000 times $8. And I got that because it said 5,000 for job 40 at $8. So I said 5,000 times 8. And then 6,200 units for job 42. 6,200 at $14 per unit. And the total amount of materials that I take out of raw and put it into work in process is that. So I know that this is actually direct materials for job 40 and direct materials for job 42. So I'm just going to keep going and see what else they throw at me. Probably some direct labor coming up next. During August, Rothschild accumulated 3,500 hours of direct labor cost on job 40 and 4,200 hours on job 42. The total direct labor incurred was a rate of $25 per direct labor hour for job 40 and $23.50 for job 42. So I'm going to say that all direct labor goes into work in process. I'm going to keep it separate, and this is going to be wages payable. And so, and I may not need to make these journal entries at the end, but this way I can see what I'm doing. All right, so I have 3,500 hours at $25 for job 40. So 3,500 times 25. And then for this one, I have 4,200 hours at a rate of $23.50. And my whole wages payable is just the total of that. All right, so what is this really? Well, this is really direct labor for job 40. And this is direct labor for job 42. All right, so we'll probably need to take care of factory overhead next. Rothschild Company estimates that total factory overhead costs will be $810,000 for the year. Direct labor hours are estimated to be 90,000. So they're giving me the amount that I need to use to calculate my predetermined manufacturing overhead rate, because that rate is estimated factory overhead divided by estimated base. I'm going to put a underline, and they're telling me that estimated factory overhead is 810, and estimated base, or direct labor hours, 90,000. So I'm going to divide to find my rate, and when I do, I find that my rate to apply factory overhead is $9 per direct labor hour. So then I know that I take my rate and I multiply it by the base, actual base. So I'm going to say rate times actual labor hours. All right, well, I know my rate is $9 and my actual hours, I can look back up here and my actual hours are 3,500 for job 40 and 4,200 for job 42. So 3,500 is going to be my factory overhead to apply for job 40, and 4,200 is going to be my factory overhead to apply for job 42. All right, so let's just see what we have so far. We need to accumulate our costs for job 40. So we need to put in direct materials, direct labor, factory overhead for job 40. So here's my direct materials for job 40. So that was 40,000. My direct labor for job 40 was 87,500. My factory overhead for job 40 was 31,500 for a total of $159,000. For job 42, my direct materials are 86,800. We'll make that blue because that's my favorite color. And for direct labor, 98,700. And for factory overhead, 4,200. So my total costs for that are this. So I won't get too excited until I put it in and see if I'm right. Oh, plus it asks something else anyway, doesn't it? All right, so for job 40, I've got 159,000. For job 42, I have 189,700. It says determine the cost per unit for jobs 40 and 42 at the end. If required, round your answers to two decimal places. All right, if you need to know a cost per unit, remember the word per means to divide. So you're saying cost per unit. Well, for job 40, your total cost was 159,000. And your total units we were given is 10,000. So if we divide 159,000 divided by 10,000, we get 15.90, and it tells us to round to two decimal places. So let's just make sure that we can see all of our decimal places here. We get 15.90. That's how much it costs per unit. And then for job 42, it's going to be the 189,700 total cost divided by the number of units, which are 11,000. And so when we divide, we get 17.25. All right, drum roll, please. Let's see if I got it right. Oh, almost. What did I do wrong here? 189,700. Let's look back and see what I did wrong. You know, that number looks pretty small, doesn't it? I'm thinking I did something wrong there. And I did. Look at that. I picked up the hours. I bet y'all are wondering when I was going to catch that. And I should have put in 37,800 because that's my factory overhead to apply. And instead, I picked up the wrong number. I picked up my factory labor hours. And I bet that drove some of you crazy. However, we're human. We make mistakes. We learn from them. So I'm going to go fix it now. Factory overhead, 37,800. And I do apologize because I know that was driving some people crazy. Then we come over here, and it needs to be 223,300. And then we got the right answer. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.